Welcome everyone to Transfer Orientation 2024. I am so excited to talk with you all about the Department of Anthropology and share some highlights about the major, the department, and everything in between. And again, as a small thank you to the Global Studies Department for helping to inspire this PowerPoint. And without further ado, let's get started. So first off, I'd like to share some of my contact information so you have it easily accessible for you. This will also be on that handout you were provided on orientation, so no worries about taking notes. So to formally introduce myself, hi, my name is Crystal Contreras. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and my official title is Undergrad Program Coordinator or your undergrad advisor. And a little bit about me is I'm also a fellow Gaucho, class of 23, and in my free time, I love to just play with my pitty Maggie. And so I have two emails. My first email is undergradadvise@anth.ucsb.edu. So this one is great for general questions. Even if you're not really sure if where to find something on the website, I think it's a great place to kind of ask there as well. What's really nice about this email is that it will provide you with an automatic reply. So kind of giving you a time frame of when I'd be able to respond. And it also provides some helpful links. So in the meantime, before I have a chance to respond, you may already get your answer provided to you through our FAQ or through another link that we've been able to provide. And the second email will be my personal email, crystalcontreras@ucsb.edu. So this one is definitely what I recommend for students if they have an urgent matter, something more time sensitive. I'll definitely get to it a bit faster through this email. But in general, either one is really great. And how to meet. So you can always schedule an appointment with me through Shoreline and we can have a one-on-one advising session. Now, Shoreline, it's a really nice, helpful advising calendar. It's really user-friendly too. So on your end, you'll be able to look at it through a calendar view and pick a day and time that works for you to meet with me. And it can be either in person or via Zoom. I do have some days that are limited to only Zoom just because I work remotely some days, but normally I'm very, very flexible. And I will also be offering drop-in advising. And if you go to either drop-in advising or have an in-person appointment, you'll be finding me at our office in HSSB, the Humanities and Social Sciences Building, 2001. So that's our second floor. It can be a bit difficult to find. And so I always like to recommend for students if they're coming from the outside and they're walking towards the HSSB courtyard to walk all the way straight down. You'll find a back building that's right across from a parking lot. If you walk in through that building, you'll see some elevators on your left. You can go straight up to those elevators and get off on the second floor, and our office will be located right on your left. Otherwise, you can always still find us by coming through that first building before you walk all the way through the courtyard. You'll just have to walk all the way straight down still. You'll most likely have to go through what's called a breezeway. It's kind of like an outside hallway. And eventually, I'm sure you'll find us. We're not too hidden, but I know some folks have some trouble finding us. Congratulations to the folks that are here in person. You obviously found us, so yay. And I just wanted to provide some helpful links on this slide as well. I'm hoping to provide a link to this PowerPoint so you're able to actually use and click around on these live links. So this is my advising hours doc. This is where you'll be able to schedule that appointment, find my Shoreline calendar, know my drop-in hours, and also kind of find my working hours, things like that. Some good info. I also have linked our general FAQ. As I mentioned, there's some really good common questions and answers on there, and even some good examples. For example, like a change of major template, if you kind of want to see what one looks like, there's also one on there for you. And of course, a link to our ANTH website. Of course, it has a lot of awesome resources to look into, our major sheets, minor sheets, careers in anthropology, my advising contact info, all that good stuff you'll be able to find there. And now I kind of wanted to go into some differences between major advisors versus college advisors. We're all awesome, but we definitely have specializations and what we're able to support you all with. But however, either one of us is always great to go to if you're not sure what question goes to who. We're both great resources to go to, and we can always redirect you if need be. So to start off, as a major advisor, the biggest difference I'd say is, of course, being specialized. So we are specialized in our specific major area. So in my case, I specialize in anthropology majors. So I can talk to you about adding an emphasis, dropping an emphasis, adding a major, running your progress. We can look at the major requirements together, look at petitions. Petitions, again, are kind of special requests or exceptions that students can submit. The most common petitions that I see as a major advisor is trying to get some outside courses to apply towards major credit. So whether these outside courses are through EAP, studying abroad, or it's just another course taken here at UCSB, we see a lot of those come through. Of course, any change of major, double major processes, forms, just some advice, and anything else on your mind. If we can't help directly right now, or if I'm not the correct person to go to, no worries. I can always redirect and help you find the support that you need. And now College of LNS advisors, and this also kind of includes our transfer center advisors. They're awesome, and they see a lot of scenarios come up throughout all the majors. They handle a broad array of scenarios that come up for students. So I promise if you have something that seems kind of sticky or you're not sure what it might mean, they're definitely a good resource to go to. And they deal with a lot of topics such as, GE requirements, making sure your IGETC came through correctly, any transfer specific issues about transcripts, transferring credit. And of course, if you'd also like to check in with them about adding or the possibility of adding a double major and a minor, they're also super awesome resources to reach out to. And of course, I'd always recommend if you're looking into adding a double major or a minor to also check in with that undergrad advisor as well. So for example, if you're looking into adding a double major in sociology, check in with that undergrad advisor for the sociology department. Let them know your plans. You might run a degree progress check together to kind of see the possibilities and pathways, things like that. And of course, they can help you with any unit requirements, run your degree progress check, help you with those exceptions, etc. Um, but yeah, so essentially, we are both really great resources. No worries if you're not sure exactly who to go to. Everyone is super friendly and will help you get the support and resources that you need. And I now wanted to go into some more registration specifics, and specifically touch on our acronyms. So two acronyms that will be seen pop up quite a bit as a transfer are GEs and I get the. And as I mentioned, UCSB loves acronyms, so definitely get a bit familiar with these. And so what are GEs? These are multi-subject requirements that all College of LNS students need to complete as part of their degree. So these are separate from your major requirements, but there can be some overlap. And so the GEs, they're listed by letters. So it's, for example, like area A through F or area G. Can't exactly remember where it ends. But I do remember that one of the areas, I believe area D, touches the social science topic. And so what it means is that there can be some overlap between the major and the GE. And so, for example, for ANTH 2, Introductory to Sociocultural ANTH, it obviously covers our prep for the major, but it also covers that area D, the social science requirement. So it's really nice. You're able to kind of kill two birds with one stone and still work towards those major requirements and college requirements at the same time, which is ideal, right? And I know a lot of students love to kind of tackle on both. And actually, through our registration system, Gold, you're able to filter which courses fulfill the different areas. And of course, if you see a major course that's able to fulfill both, then definitely go for it. And our second acronym right here is the IGETC. So this is AKA the Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. What a mouthful. So this is essentially a plan that California CCs use to kind of show your course history, what you've already taken as your CC experience, and what can transfer over and fulfill UCSB's GE requirements. Ideally, the IGETC can fulfill all, if not most, of the UCSB's GEs from what I've seen. One important thing to know is that you have to request this to be sent from your CC to UCSB. It's not automatic, unfortunately. I would say please try to get this done. The sooner, the better, just so you have a better idea of what credit has been able to successfully come through, and gives you a better picture of what to plan for future courses and future quarters. And now I also kind of wanted to go into some general things, some Bachelor of Arts degree requirements, things to know as a transfer. Apologies if you've already kind of heard this throughout your orientation, but I know it can be a little bit confusing at first. So I just want to kind of cover as much as I can while we have you guys. So to start off, of course, everyone completes one major to graduate or one degree. So this can be, of course, or you can have two majors. You can be double major or major with a minor. So one of the overall degree requirements that you'll have for a BA is that you must complete 180 quarter units. So usually transfers come in with around 90 to 105 transfer units. You'll come in with what's called junior standing, since you've already come in with units. So out of these 180 units, 60 of these must be completed by upper division courses or units. So what are upper division courses? What's the difference? So upper division courses, these are going to be numbered 100 to 199. So even if we have an ANTH course that's listed as ANTH 78 or ANTH 99, that's still going to be determined as a lower division course. And once you reach that 100th, then you're going to go into those upper division courses. Now, what's nice about UCSB and what the college tries to do is it tries to create and plan with majors to kind of incorporate these unit requirements into the major requirements as well. And so our anthropology major does have an upper division requirement of 40 upper division units that you must complete to complete the major. And so this is 40 out of 60. This would leave you with an additional 20 upper division units left to get to that 60 unit minimum. So you can complete these additional 20 units either through electives, so any fun courses that you may have seen throughout your time. We have really awesome like weightlifting, yoga courses, things like that. Or I also see a lot of students who like to kind of utilize their units and take on a second major or take on a minor uh, to kind of get the most out of those units. One thing to note as well is that UCSB does have a 200 unit cap. So essentially, UCSB has this timeline for students that they allow students either 4 regular academic years. If you're a transfer, that's around 2 to 3-ish, or they offer students 200 units, whichever comes later, essentially. So it is okay to go over 200 units as long as you're not super into a 5th, 6th year. Uh, But if you do anticipate, maybe you came in with even more units than 105 as a junior already, so you kind of have more than the average, it may cause you to dip over a little bit. If that is the case, no worries. There is a form that we can submit. It's called the Proposed Schedule for Graduation form. This is just helping the college kind of have a timeline for when we anticipate that you'll finish your major or majors. Typically, students that have a double major or a minor later on, they will most likely go over this 200 unit cap. So it is common. I do see it frequently. So don't freak out there if you anticipate that might be you. And as I kind of mentioned already, some of you may already have junior standing, which is awesome. This means that you've already reached 90 units total. And if you have it, you do have a few perks. So you do have that earlier, more prioritized pass time, registration time. So it is earlier than our freshmen would have. So this is to allow you to give you the opportunity to register for those courses that you really need. So whether it be a GE course that you really need or a major course, uh, it's to allow you that flexibility. And of course, some of these upper division courses are only going to be open to juniors and above, so giving you that extra freedom as well. Now, how do you know where you stand in terms of major progress? It's a great question. So I would say definitely check that progress check on Gold frequently. It's available to you 24/7. So definitely feel comfortable using it, utilizing it. And I will say use it at least twice per quarter. As a student, this is what I would do, and I think it worked amazing. I think it definitely helped me stay on track and gave me a good idea of what requirements I had remaining. So I recommend to run this degree check halfway through the quarter. That's usually when you're registering for courses in the upcoming quarter. So for example, in fall, around week 5, week 6 in fall, you're going to be registering for courses in winter. And so when you're doing that, definitely run that degree progress check, see what you have remaining. That way you're able to plan your units accordingly and see what you've already had done. Another good time to run that degree progress check is to run it at the end of a quarter once you receive those final grades, so you can make sure that credit was placed in the correct areas. And if it wasn't placed where you thought it would be, then scheduling an advising appointment with either a college advisor or your major advisor and seeing if a petition would be possible or seeing if there was an error on the system's end. Um, good stuff to definitely check on. And of course, as I mentioned, you have 24/7 access to the degree progress check. So you're not limited to only checking it during those times. Um, and how? So we'll definitely go over how we can check it a little bit later in our presentation. We'll go kind of through screenshots. So hopefully it'll be a bit easier to follow along. And I just wanted to go over some helpful tips. So first, if you log in between now and the start of fall quarter, you may notice that not everything has been filled in, or it's not super comprehensive of your course history or your I get C. So no worries there. What may be occurring is that it's still just processing and being formalized through the college. I have heard from other advisors that your course history and your full gold course profile should be good to go by winter quarter. And of course, another helpful tip I love to provide is when you're looking at courses for an upcoming quarter is to definitely use your major sheet, have it next to you, have it pulled up on a tab. And even right now, if you don't have that course history in gold yet, please just have your community college course transcript with you, and that way you can kind of check off what you plan or anticipate to have already been covered or taken at CC on your major sheet, and that way you can kind of have a realistic plan that you kind of formally made yourself, and we can definitely go over it together as well. But I think it's great to also just have that major sheet with you as your course planning. Now we can kind of go step by step and see where you actually find this degree progress check that we've been talking about. So first step would just be to log into Gold with your UCSB Net ID and password. Next, it'll kind of take you to this home page. You want to go to the top, click on that progress tab, and click on Major and GE progress checks. This will take you to a page with two drop-down menus and a checkbox. So the first drop-down is going to be your overall major. Second drop-down, it's going to be more specialized. So if you're general anthropology, it should look exactly like this. However, if you have an emphases, you want to edit this drop-down if it doesn't have it listed already. What's really nice as well is I believe you're able to adjust. So if you think you're gonna be able to add an emphasis later on, I believe you will be able to kind of run it with an emphasis and see what you would have. Next, you're able to either check or uncheck this box if you'd like to run the degree progress check with your in progress courses or without. Both progress checks have their pros and cons, I'd say. I think if you're understanding and you know that in the courses that you're registered for currently, you do plan to keep, and you have solid feelings about keeping them, then I would say for sure go ahead and just use in progress. However, if you're kind of a bit uneasy about keeping a certain course or not sure about how many units you have finalized, then it might be a good idea to just run the degree check without in progress. So in progress, we'll use your courses that you're in taking concurrently. So for fall, you'll see in progress courses because you're taking fall courses. You won't see your actual grade or official units for them yet until you receive those final grades after week 11. And then once you decided how you would like to run it, you'll just click this big blue button at the bottom called Run this progress check. And then it will populate a page that has a huge list of your requirements, starting from units, GEs, then going down to major requirements, and finally, I believe one of the last requirements is your degree candidacy. So there's a lot of good areas to check. I would say definitely check out your units completed and left to complete area. That kind of gives you an idea of, how many more quarters to anticipate taking, how many more courses. Of course, check out your GE completion. Did your IGETI come through correctly? Or do you see some GEs that you still have remaining? If you don't see your IGETI, this may be a question more for those transfer center advisors or your UCSB admissions, kind of making sure that transcript came in all right. And then, of course, check out your major requirement areas. And this is what you would see from this screenshot below, what it would look like. So for example, this student, they already have completed their prep for the major, so they have been awarded a green check mark. So if you see that green check mark, it means you're okay, you're good to go, and that requirement has been fulfilled. And if you see this kind of clock where it says IP, it means in progress. So that means that you're either about to complete that requirement since you're using the in progress degree check. Most likely, if you would have run the degree check without in progress, it might still just have an X that says no. But since you're using in progress courses, this means that the student was most likely going to finish that requirement in that same concurrent quarter. And then, of course, you have a symbol that shows as an X. So this just means you haven't fulfilled the requirement yet and are most likely not going to fulfill it in that same quarter. Now, some tabs also have this like I symbol. So this will just be more information that you're able to see. One good area to check as well for transfers would be the all credit accepted section. I believe this is more towards the bottom of that degree progress check report. And so this will show you the total units that have been transferred over. It'll show you, the exact courses, where it was taken, and how much credit you've been awarded for. So a lot of good things to check in with. And of course, we can always walk through your degree check together in a one-on-one session. Depending on our time, I'm hoping to meet with each and every one of you during our orientation week today. But if we do not have the chance, then we can for sure meet via Zoom and run it together. And now I just wanted to go over our major requirements a bit and kind of break them down for you all. So we do have a prep for the major, which is 4 courses total. It'll be 3 intro courses. We have ANTH 2, Introduction to Sociocultural and 3, Introduction to Archaeological and ANTH 5, Introduction to Biological and. And of course, we have 1 methods course. So this one is a bit trickier, and kind of depending on the exact major that you have. So whether you have the general major or an emphasis, you'll have different method courses to choose from. However, one thing to know is if a methods course is already listed on one of our major sheets, but is not listed on yours specifically, and you'd like to try to petition it or see if it can be applied, I believe you do have a high likelihood of it being applied. It will have to still be submitted as a petition and it goes through our faculty advisor. Uh, However, as a rule of thumb, you do have a high likelihood, I'd say. And so we can kind of see that happening here. So for our general ANTH majors, you're able to use ANTH 129 to fulfill your methods requirement. And as the asterisk signifies, you're also able to apply it to the 40 upper division unit requirement for the major. So definitely double dipping there, which is really awesome if you feel like you might be limited or strapped for time, strapped for units. That might be a great option to utilize. However, if you're an ANTH major with a bio emphasis and you were hoping to do the same thing and apply ANTH 129 towards your methods requirement, it's actually not listed here in the major sheet. So when you run your degree progress check, if you're planning to see 129 fulfill that methods requirement, you will not see that green check mark. You might see 129 just be in the upper division requirement listed there. However, as I mentioned before, if you would try to like to petition, you're always welcome to. However, we have listed these courses to specifically support that majors. So these courses have been specifically designated to help support those bio emphasis majors. So just keeping that in mind as well. So this will give you the most preparation. And then continuing, so we'll just kind of go into the upper division as well. There's really only one main difference between the upper division requirements for general ANTH majors versus ANTH majors with an emphasis. So starting with the general ANTH major, you'll have one area, area 1, which has a 40-unit upper division requirement. And it specifies that you can choose 10 courses from the full ANTH curriculum. So this means that all upper division ANTH courses are eligible. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. You're able to really kind of compose your ANTH major to your liking. So if you'd like to kind of dip your toes into the 3 different specializations, bio ANTH, sociocultural ANTH, and archaeological ANTH, you're definitely welcome to. And one thing to know as well is that we do offer related fields courses. So these are courses that have already been pre-approved for ANTH credit. These are courses that are held by different departments at UCSB. And as I mentioned, you are allowed 12 units of related fields credit. So essentially around 3 courses or so to apply towards that upper division requirement. So, as a rule of thumb, just at least 28 units need to be ANTH courses. The rest, the following 12, can be chosen from related fields. However, they don't need to be. So, if you want to just take all ANTH courses, 10 ANTH courses in total, you are totally okay to do that as well. However, sometimes if you have difficulty, for example, getting into an ANTH course, or if you just want to have just some more breadth, some more understanding in some different areas or in some different courses that UCSB offers, you're definitely welcome to do so as well. And that's why we kind of have this list that the department has created. And a lot of it is to help create more of that holistic education. Now, ANTH majors with an emphasis. So this means if you have either an art, cultural, biological emphasis, this will be your area, and you'll have two areas now. One thing to know is that you will have the same unit course requirements, so nothing changes there. They're just broken down a bit differently. And so area 1, you'll have 5 courses from a list to choose from that are composed to up to 20 units total. So the courses, as I mentioned, they'll be listed on that major sheet. If not, they can also be petitioned. I will say it is less common to see petition courses be accepted for Area 1 for that emphasis credit. Most of the time, if they are petitioned, it's through study abroad, things like that. And Area 2, you'll need to choose 5 courses from either the full ANTH curriculum or related fields credit, and you still have that same flexibility of 12 units of related fields credit that must be fulfilled from ANTH courses. So this, I meant to actually put this note up here in area 1. So those are the 28 units. They must be fulfilled from ANTH courses. For those with an emphasis, your area 2, it just needs to have 8 units or 2 courses of ANTH credit. The rest can be fulfilled by related fields credit. In area 1, as mentioned, courses must be on that major sheet list. Again, a helpful note, please take all upper division courses as letter grade if you plan to apply them towards the major. If you take it as pass, no pass, you'll most likely see it in your degree progress check as courses in excess of major requirements. You can try to petition for a grade option change. However, it can be a bit of a headache. And just to save you some time and stress and energy, let's try to just take them on a letter grade basis. And again, related fields, what are those? As I mentioned, we do have a related fields list. There's a live link here, or you can always find it on our ANTH website underneath the undergraduate tab if you scroll down. As I mentioned before, if you don't see a course on the list, but you think it may be able to apply towards the ANTH major for credit, you can always submit a petition. And again, I just wanted to kind of show this snippet. So this is what the major sheet would look like with the upper division requirement listed. Has the 10 courses here, 40 unit requirement here. Mentions that the 20 units must be satisfied by ANTH courses. However, the other 12 may be fulfilled by related fields courses. You are not limited to these related fields courses. These are just the ones that are recommended. And this is the big difference that you can see now with ANTH majors with an emphasis. So you see area 1, these are the courses that you'll see listed. So these are all ANTH courses. And then you'll see area 2. These will just be from the full curriculum or related fields again. 8 units from area 2 must be satisfied by ANTH courses. As you see, this still adds up to 40 units total, and this still adds up to 10 courses total. Now, planning your fall schedule. So I would say one of my biggest tips is to use our course planning sheets. And these are also provided on our website. Of course, there's live links here. They're also included in your handout. So if you prefer to just do them online, definitely feel welcome to save a PDF through our website. If you prefer writing it out, then definitely utilize that handout that we provided. And if you've already completed the pre-major, I would say it's normal for students to take around 2 to 3 ANTH courses per quarter to fulfill the remaining requirements. So yeah, definitely they're separated by specific majors. So here's general ANTH majors in the beginning, all the way down to cultural emphasis majors. And again, when should you start planning? So definitely the earlier the better. Once Gold updates and you're able to see the upcoming quarter's course offerings, definitely look at them, look at a few, and utilize the cart option in gold, and use the cart to essentially add in your first picks and a few backups. So when you have your pastime, which is again, it's very unique and personalized, it can be funky times. It doesn't really start at an hour. It can be from 8:25 to 8:45. It can be totally random. So I definitely recommend setting a timer for yourself so you can make sure to get the best courses possible with your registration time. And of course, utilize that cart. So I say your cart is your friend. It's very similar to online shopping as well, because you have everything in your cart. And so when you're ready to check out, quote unquote, check out or add your courses when your registration time begins, it can all be nice and tidy there in your cart. And so if you already see some courses have already filled up that were your top picks, you're not going to be super stressed if you already have your backups chosen and in your cart, ready to go, and you can just add them straight to your schedule. So it's just a much smoother, easier process to go off of. And if you completed your online transfer orientation module on time, your pastime should start sometime next week. I know from what orientation had mentioned, it should be after all the sessions are complete. But just to keep in mind for future quarters, registration will be around week 5 to week 6. That's where you'll look at the upcoming quarters course offerings, and so you'll know what'll be available. During that time, I highly recommend that you make an appointment with me. We can look at the courses together if you have any questions, or definitely stop by during drop-in advising if you just have a quick question. And so, which classes do you want to choose? And again, this may change depending on your course history, what you've already taken. One big difference I would say coming from CC to, UCSB is that CC, I think, sometimes gives you more of a direct path on which courses you need to take and what exactly to follow, kind of like a step by step, versus UCSB gives you a lot of freedom depending on the major and how you'd like to curate your major. And so this can be a really, really awesome thing, and I definitely recommend you all to take advantage of it and cater your major to what you like. So, ANTH majors with an emphasis, I do have a few tips. And again, these are just tips because at the end of the day, you guys are totally in control and empowered to choose your own courses and your own schedule. And I only am here to just provide support and give you tips. But first tip that I really recommend for students with an emphasis is try to register for courses that are listed in your area 1 first. So essentially these courses that are listed in your area 1, they can have limited offerings. They can just be depending on which professor wants to offer it, which quarter they're able to offer it, where the course is placed, depending on course seating, things like that. It can just be very limiting and it can be a bit tough. So I'd say to help you avoid stress later on and getting worried if you're able to complete that area 1, that emphasis. If you see one of these course offerings offered during a particular quarter, I would say definitely add it to your cart. Try to sign up for that one first, just because your area 2, you have definitely a bit more flexibility. And of course, general ANTH majors, you have a whole lot more flexibility where you're able to have the whole curriculum at your disposal to choose from. And of course, you're able to utilize those related fields courses, whether you have an emphasis or not. But as a reminder, those related fields courses will not go into your area 1, they'll go into your area 2. And again, so these related fields courses, they're great if you're not able to get into a certain ANTH course, it's a great backup option. Or of course, if you just want to branch out and see some other departments, maybe you're thinking about what to do with those remaining 20 upper division units, and you're thinking about possible minors or possible double majors. I think that's also a great opportunity to kind of tap into the waters and see what else is out there. This is our related fields list linked here. Of course, it's available on our website as well. It's continuously being updated. And you're always able to submit a petition in case you don't see a course up there. Now, how to register for courses in Gold? It's a great question. So it can have a few steps, and we'll just go over it briefly. Again, we can always go over this together when registration pastimes are coming up. So no worries if you want to go over the first one together. But some steps to follow is, of course, log into Gold using your UCSB Net ID and password. And you want to click on that registration tab that's in that gold kind of overview bar at the top. And you'll want to check on what your pastime is and when it is. So pastime, of course, so this is when you can make changes to your schedule, such as adding courses, switching courses, dropping, etc. And I emphasize you because sometimes I can do things or other advisors can help initiate petitions that students aren't able to do on their end after a certain deadline. But this is great so you have the flexibility to do and make these changes on your own. So definitely make a note, make a timer, put it on your Google Calendar of when your pastimes are, just because it's super helpful and it keeps you on track. However, if you're not in your pastime, but you would still like to make some edits to your schedule, you'll most likely need to submit a petition to the College of L&S. You can either look through the petitions page, and if you know exactly what you need, go ahead and start submitting the petition there. However, if you're not sure if you'll need a petition or what petition to submit, you can again shoot me an email. We can set up an advising meeting, or if it's something quick, I can even try to cover it and drop an advising session where we kind of look at what petition might be best for you. And you'll also have 3 pastimes, which will be active throughout a range of dates and times throughout that quarter. So your first pastime, that'll be between week 5 and 6. That's when you're actually registering for the first few courses. Um, and of course, as a friendly reminder, UCSB has implemented maxes or unit maxes for pastimes. So for pastime 1, you will have a max of 10 units that you're able to register for. So most students just register for around 2 courses or so. And don't freak out yet. I know most students do need 12 units to receive financial aid and to be in good unit standing. No worries there. The school is aware of this, and so they do allow past 2 to have a max of 15 units. And so that's when you'd be able to be in that 12 unit minimum. So for first pastime, as I mentioned, it might be a good idea to kind of sign up for either those Area 1 courses that you'll need, or if you need like a methods course, signing up for more of those limited offering courses and making sure you already have those squared away so you don't have to worry about them later on. And you'll have a second pastime a week or 2 after the first. So definitely still utilizing that cart would be a good idea. Even monitoring any courses that you really want, and let's say if they're full, the time period between the first pass and the second pass is usually maybe when we'll see some drops for some courses. So some students will just sign up for a course as a placeholder. And once they get into a course that they actually really need or really want, they'll drop the course that they didn't want, and that can lead you to having an open seat and being able to add the course once that second pastime comes around. And then that third pastime, that'll just be until usually late into the quarter. And it's mainly just to give you some flexibility to either, for example, change the grading option, things like that. And as I mentioned before, you're able to kind of customize the search option on Gold, which is really nice. So you can go on that Find Courses tab on the top of the page to actually find courses and enroll during your pastime. If you're not in your pastime, you'll still be able to look at these courses and sift through them. You just won't actually see any of your buttons live and able to add them. Again, a helpful tip, utilize that registration cart. It's very similar to using a shopping cart. So just because it's in your cart, it doesn't mean you have bought the item or have it added into your schedule yet. You have to actually wait until your pastime is live and make sure you click that big blue button that says add. And you can help narrow down your search through gold. So you can use this advanced search option and it can help you narrow down courses that are offered on certain days. So for example, if you have an internship or if you have work and you need it to kind of accommodate with your work schedule, you can look for courses that are only offered on Tuesday, Thursday, or look at only upper division courses, courses that meet certain GE requirements, things like that. So it's really, really cool. And of course, if you have trouble finding this option, we can always look for it together. Now, what do I do if my preferred courses are full? It happens. It happens to the best of us, unfortunately. As a gaucho, as I kind of mentioned here, it can definitely feel like the Hunger Games at times where you're trying to fight for your seat in a course that you really, really want or that you really, really need. And again, as I mentioned, to try to avoid this feeling, let's try to plan ahead and have multiple backup options. This just leaves you with less stress, less cramming as you're trying to kind of find a last minute backup versus if you already have a few options ready, solidified to go in your cart. It kind of saves you the headache there. And it's honestly okay that you don't have all of your preferred courses in your schedule. Sometimes it's just the case. Sometimes you'll have to kind of take one course that's not ideal. But hopefully you're still working towards some sort of requirement, whether it be for your major, for your overall degree requirements. Uh, Sometimes it just kind of works out that way. But one good thing that I do like to remind students is our quarters are only 10 weeks, right? And so if you're in a course that's not your favorite, it's not your preferred course that you wanted to be in, you only have to be in there for 10 weeks, right? And then you get to choose a course that hopefully you like much better in the next quarter. So if possible, add yourself to the wait list as well. And if the wait list isn't open yet, if it says waitlist closed, possibly try reaching out to the instructor and request if it can be opened, or if you're able to receive an ad code. Some professors may not even know that their waitlist still hasn't been opened yet, so that's always a good first point. Or some have purposefully kept their waitlist closed and they may just be distributing ad codes to certain students, so that's also another option. Or you're also able to just crash the course and attend just day one of the course. You're able to see when the course is offered through Gold still. You're able to see where the location will be, the times, who an instructor is. And definitely stay behind after class, introduce yourself to the instructor, and to ideally even a TA if possible, and see if you're able to be added to the Canvas course or something along those lines, just so you're able to see what's kind of happening in the course while trying to be added. And again, remember that you have multiple pastimes. So if you don't get your preferred courses in that first pastime, remember that you still have two more pastimes that are coming up that may offer you the opportunity to add that course, or it may kind of give you some more time to figure out some shuffling and see what you're able to do. And as I mentioned, sometimes there's some drops, so empty seats that open up between past 2 and 3. So that's always something to look forward to. It may happen, there's no guarantee, but we do see it happen quite frequently. And again, it's usually a safe bet to register for an upper division course in general if you're totally at a loss of what to sign up for. And if you take an upper division course that's not on the related fields list, you can still submit a petition and we can always try to see if it can be applied for major credit. Again, there's no guarantee, so I definitely recommend trying to register for a course that's already on that list, just because it makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, otherwise, I think taking an upper division course in general, it'll still help you fulfill those extra 20 upper division units that you may still need, or helps you fulfill a GE, all that good stuff. Alrighty, so in person, this will be our general Q&A time. So and our one-on-one session time. So we'll actually be going straight into our one-on-one sessions. Depending on how many folks we have, I may be there just to answer some more general Q&As. But if we have a lot of folks in, we'll just get straight into those individual one-on-ones. So in your handout, you'll be able to scan the QR, already kind of schedule an appointment. Um, and yeah, and I'll get started to look at all that good course history that you've already taken. I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you. Once again, my name is Crystal. I'm so excited to have you join our department and get to know you all.